So the next day, we get a letter in the mail, and it is like the forms that we filled out for King to be legitimized. The state of Maryland sent the letter back to us, sent the forms back to us, telling us that we need to serve his mom with the paperwork, or we need to like write down her last known address, saying that we tried to serve her and we couldn't. We had to write down the addresses that we went to try to serve her. And I'm just like, D, this is what we got to do. He was just like, I don't even know if I want to get that little nigga legitimized. I don't even know if I want him to have my last name. I was like, what you mean you don't know if you want him to have your last name? He was like, he's stupid. I don't know if I want his stupid ass to have my last name. I'm like, you got to stop saying that about him, because I'm like, he is not stupid. I'm like, you can see that, like, she probably just wasn't paying attention to him. I don't think that he's stupid. I think that we just need to work with him. So what do you mean you don't want to do this legitimation now? Like, what do you mean? He was just like, well, right now, we just going to pause on that since we got to find her. Like, we'll try to find her, but that's not priority right now. I was like, well, if that's not priority, what the fuck is priority? He was like, well, I found the mechanic for my truck, and I got to get all the stuff fixed for my truck before it's time to renew my registration in August for my birthday. And I was like, well, what you got to get fixed? Like, what you mean you got to get your stuff fixed? He was like, well, in Maryland, your car has to pass emissions, where they have to inspect your car, and it has to be like, you got to fix all the problems on your car before they will let you register it for Maryland. And I was just like, oh. And he was like, yeah, I got to go take it to get looked at, to get inspected, and they're going to let me know everything that's wrong with it. And then everything that's wrong with it, we got to fix. And I'm just like, okay. He was like, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to send you some money, and you put that money in your savings account, and that's going to be for me to get the car fixed. Like, I don't want to keep it in mind because I'm bad with money. And I was like, yeah, you are bad with money. He was like, so I'm going to just send you this, and you keep it in your account, and you do that. And I was like, okay, all right. And in my head, I'm just like, yeah, nigga, send me this money. Send me this money, and I'm going to use this money to get the fuck on. You just don't know it yet, because I already done started back working too. Like, yeah. But I'm just like, okay, well, we need to talk about something else. I feel like since I'm about to go back to work, I don't want to leave you here with all the kids, and because D was about to start going to work, but he was going to start back going to work a couple of days later. But I'm just like, nah, after that whole incident, I'm not leaving these kids with you, especially not King. Why the fuck would, no, I would not do that. So I'm just like, we need to put them in something. Let's find a summer camp for them. Because at this time, Kion was already in daycare. Like, his daycare was 10 minutes down the road from where I worked in Bowie. His daycare was there, and I'm just like, I'll just find Jackson and King a summer camp nearby. He was like, we're going to have the money for all of that? I was like, well, I'm doing the budget, and I'm like, if we cut out some stuff, we'll be able to afford it. He was like, well, how much is it? I'm like, well, Kaya's daycare is already $450.25 a week. So I already talked to them, and they said if I add Jackson and King, that it was gonna go up. Like, Jackson and King was gonna bring it to $225 a week per child. So I'm like, I'm damn near gonna be paying $3,600 a month just for childcare for everybody. He was like, well, can we afford it? I'm like, well, that'll be my whole check, because that's how much I bring in with my one job, not including the job that your dad is getting me on, like the one I'm about to start, not including that part-time job. But for my main job, that's like my whole income. So it's like, yeah, if we can continue to like cover all the other stuff, like we should be able to maintain. Because at this time, our rent was $1,850 a month. Darian's car payment was $150. His truck payment was $150. My car payment was $360. So I'm like, and then we got, the Pepco and, the miscellaneous stuff, our phone bills. We had linked our phones together. So we're now on the same family plan, with me being the primary owner. So that means I had access to everybody's call logs and records. We also added a line for Jackson. So Jackson now has his own phone. So I was just like, let me find a summer camp for the kids. we'll make it work. I'll make it work. I'm doing a budget. I will make it work. And which I did. So I found the summer camp, and it was the Karate Academy. I'm just like, perfect. Putting the boys in the Karate Academy. And I'm like, and it'd be good for King to be around other kids. And he was just like, well, how's that going to work if, you know, we ain't got nothing to prove that he belongs to us? I'm like, well, I'm going to just talk with the guy there and see. So when I went there to register them, I talked with the guy and I let him know, like, look, I'm not King's biological mom. He's here with me and his dad. Like, his mom gave us his birth certificate and we have his shot records, but that's about it. And he was just like, well, have y'all started the legitimation process? I'm like, yes, we have. He's like, do y'all have that form? And I'm just like, yes, we do. He's like, okay, that'll work. That will work. That will show that he belongs to y'all. I'm like, all right, cool. So I submitted all that in, and then Jackson and King started the Karate Academy. So when I went to work, I dropped Kion off at his daycare, and then I went right down the road to drop Jackson and King off at the Karate Academy, because it was literally 2 minutes from Kion's daycare. So it was like we was all in the same little area in Bowie. Everything was working out. I'm like, all right, cool, that will work. One day after work, I ended up going to Pop Pop's house, getting the weapon from him, and he was showing me how to use it. He was showing me how to carry it. He said, look, whenever you are transporting it in your car, it cannot ride in the car with you. It has to be in the trunk, unloaded. I was like, okay. So he was showing me how to put the lock on it and everything. He was like, make sure you keep it in the trunk unloaded and make sure all of the bullets are accounted for. I was just like, all right, cool. It's like, and if you have to discharge it at any point, let me know, because I have to account for the bullets. I'm like, all right, we can do that. So I now had the weapon that I had to carry in the trunk of my car, and it was good. So one day, after dropping all the kids off to their respectful spots, I went to work. And as I'm at work, I'm strolling through my email, because it was a slow day. I'm going through my email, and I noticed, like, it was an email. Well, I'm going through Darian's email. I should say that, not my email. I was so used to it being on my phone, I'm saying to mine. It was Darian's email that was on my phone. Yes, he took his Instagram off, but his email was still on my phone. So I was going through his email, and I was just like, I noticed an email in his sent. It said, tagyourit@gmail.com. I'm like, tag your it? What is tag your it? I'm like, where could this be? So I started to do a deep dive into his email. I didn't come up with nothing. So I'm like, you know what? Let me try to sign into this tag your it account. So sure enough, I did that. I signed into the tag your it at Gmail account by using the same freaking password. I guess this dude thought, well, if I change my, like, if she don't know the email address, I ain't got to worry about the password, because his passwords were the same for everything. That's why I kept getting into it, because it was the same for everything. I'm just like, bet. Cool. This is July 15th, 2020. I'm in this email, and in this email, I see a Bumble account. I see emails from BLK, not our BLK that we had going on, because we used a different email. We used our normal email. So it wasn't that. Then it was a Tinder account. And then, Grindr. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Oh, and a tag account. Like, there's a tag account. And I'm just like, what the fuck is tag? I know what all this other stuff is, and this Grindr. I'm not going to dive into this Grindr right now, because he already gave me an explanation on the Grindr. So I'm about to check out this tag account. Like, what the fuck is going on with this tag account? Because I keep seeing tag, and I haven't seen tag since I was in middle school. And I was in middle school back in 2003. So I didn't know people still use tag accounts. So I'm just like, let me log in. Let me go to this tag account and use this email since the email is already on my phone.